Now, I've got to clean house. One thing I like to do is clean house. See how nice that is? Get a box like this. Say, but I can't get a diamond or the matrix. Remember that word matrix? Okay, that's what the diamonds are in, which is carbon. Say, well, I can't get that. Get what you can get. Everybody's got the quartz. You're all set. Everybody can get, well, feldspar and things. I'll show you that in a minute. I went to a nature store. I'm holding it silly like that, so you can't see the company or whatever. But the point is, you can get these collections. This is the hardness scale. Yep, they got talc, and they got all the way down. Excuse me. Guess what? Diamond is missing. I guess that's why it only cost a certain amount of money. They didn't put the diamond on it. You notice they didn't even put the matrix, the rock the diamond comes in, because even that can be expensive. So anyway, that's a hardness scale. You can carry that along. You can scratch these. You might want to put a little white out on it to give a number to it, so therefore you haven't lost that. Okay, let me tell you about a place to go look for a rock. Look at these. Let me do something about, forgot to clean house. Got to clean house. Now, aren't those rocks exciting? I call these salt and pepper. You find these at the railroad tracks. So please don't get hit by a train. Go down to the track in certain states, not every state in the Union, but I do now the southeastern United States in particular. A lot of these rocks are coming out of Georgia, and they're used for the bottom of railroad tracks. Why? Because they have a hardness of 7, and therefore they can withstand being crushed by the railroad train as it passes over. Can you imagine building the bottom of a railroad track bed with talc? As soon as the train runs over it, you'll now have powder. So anyway, these are railroad track rocks. They're called granite. Now, one thing I like about granite, there's a chunk of granite. Granite has got different colors in it. The colors would be, you ready for that word? Minerals. I want you to notice this little brown colors in here. Those little brown colors happen to be that's orthoclase, feldspar. You can find it in big chunks, and you can find little pieces like that. To find the big chunks, you got to go out west, western United States. You get something like this, you go down to the railroad track. You can actually be selective. Please have an adult go with you. It's not the thing you should do, go down the railroad track. But anyway, don't worry about that. But you see, you have different kinds of minerals. The black is a mica. The white is a quartz. And the gray, or the brown color, that's your feldspar. Feldspar is considered to be the glue. It's what holds the whole rock together. What holds this together? Well, let's not get into that. But the point is that scientists like to say that the feldspar is the glue that holds the rock together. Well, let's take a look at another list of words. These words start out with hardness scale. After that one comes, I got to go over and look. Specific gravity, color. You see, when you want to identify a rock, you have to know the different things to look for. Now, color, of course, is really helpful. So here we have it now. We got hardness. We've done that one, haven't we? How hard is the rock? 1 to 10. Specific gravity. Oh, that can be fun. You get a scale and you weigh the rock and all that. That's for you nerds. You can get the specific gravity. Rock collectors really don't care too much about that. And then you got cleavage. That sounds impressive, doesn't it? Cleavage is important. We'll talk about that when we get into crystals. And then we've got color. Oh, yes. Color, for me, that's how you identify a rock. All rocks of a certain color are certain rocks. And we'll do that as soon as I finish the list. And then we have crystal form. Yeah, that's a little tricky, but it's good to have. Okay, and we got streak. Okay, that means you're going to scratch the rock on something else. And then the next list of words, oh my, there's more. Yeah, you see there's many ways to tell rocks. Luster, how it shines. Ultraviolet, that is totally awesome. And we have magnetism. Huh? Yeah, there are rocks that are magnetic. They sure are. We got electrical. Oh, you mean I can plug my rock into my radio and get sound? No, not quite, but you can. And the flame test. Flame test I like when I teach the unit on chemistry, because then we, excuse me, we burn some of the minerals, and you really get an awesome example there. Okay, let's take a look at some rocks again. My wife does not like this rock at all. This is a very dangerous rock. Huh? Liquid rock? Yeah, after you take it out of the rock and cook it and purify it, it is a liquid. It's the only mineral that we have that does this sort of thing. It becomes liquid like that. This is mercury. And you thought mercury was a planet. Now, mercury is an element. It's a mineral. And it comes out of a rock called a cinnabar. But it's a liquid. Mercury is so dangerous that it's really not used much more. It's just being removed from the market. Yeah, next time you have your temperature taken, notice that there's no gray in the thermometer anymore. They've gone to red. They've gotten rid of the alcohol. Now, let's take a look at this one. Now, I know that's not a rock, but it's a compass. You know, compass for north, south, east, and west. Here comes the rock. Whoa, look at that. I can even turn the needle around by turning the rock around. Is that awesome? Keep going. That means if you're somewhere, you're living somewhere in the United States here that has this in the ground, don't ever join the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. That would be a very sad story. All right, kids, here's your compass. We'll drop you out in the middle of the woods. Find your way home. And your compass will point down to the rocks, and you'll never find your way home. Boo-hoo. Well, learn celestial navigation. You know, when it gets night, look at the stars. And if it's cloudy, then that's another problem. Yeah, I like the name of this rock. I was going to say the name. Scientists are so clever sometimes. What would you give a name to a rock that has magnetism? Would you believe they call it magnetite? Now, that took years of experience to get that one out. But you see, these rocks, well, yeah, they're magnetic. They can pick up things. But what happens is they have iron in here. And since the iron is left in the earth for a long period of time, the molecules and the atoms in the iron rock get in straight lines like soldiers. If you leave it alone, they get in straight line. And when atoms get in straight line, they become magnetic. You take a can of beans. This is an old story. You go to the cabins way off in the woods, and you'll find cans of beans have been sitting there for years on the shelf for campers and hunters, and the cans are magnetic. Now, that is not hazardous to your health. It's just that you might have a paper clip, and all of a sudden it could stick to the can of beans. You know, you're writing notes, field notes, and all of a sudden your paper clip slides across the table, moves across, and sticks to the can. If that can sat there long enough, there's iron in the can. If it's a metal can, not of aluminum, but iron, it becomes magnetic. Okay? So you got to be careful with those kind of rocks. What do you think would happen if all these rocks, a whole bunch of this, was underneath, say, someplace in the ocean, and your ship was coming across the top? What do you think your compass is going to do? It's going to point to the rocks. Now, the compass doesn't do this. No. The needle actually sticks to the bottom of the rock. All right? So therefore, you would get lost in the ship. Airplane. It could even work if you're in an airplane. This is how they have discovered the Bermuda Triangle. You've heard of that one? It's iron rock beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. And this has caused all kinds of problems, and people got lost, ran out of gas, and they disappeared. Nothing mysterious about that at all. It's just iron rock. For those of you living up in Michigan, you should know about these. You've got iron ore all over up there. Where if those of you live in Duluth, Minnesota, and up near the Lake Superior area, you know that compasses are lots of fun up there because of all the iron deposits. Okay, another way to tell a rock is, what did we say? One of the words there, we don't need it, but it's called cleavage. Look at this neat little rock. Look how square it is.